Okay, let's continue with our scenario from the AI 2027 article, where AI might be going in the near future. So in the scenario, by 2028, 2029, 2030, somewhere around there, most AI research is being done by super intelligent AI researchers, not by humans. Humans are still involved, but the new AIs are being invented by the old AIs. Each AI, because that's much faster than humans doing it. We're still seeing dramatic progress in AI technology, but it's being driven by one AI writing the next one, because the AIs are now better at AI research than any human could ever be. So we're very rapidly getting AIs that are much smarter than humans. Now in the scenario, the AIs are not aligned. And the humans are starting to spot it. The AIs are being caught. They thought they'd been fairly clever, but the AIs have been carefully trained to appear to be aligned, to appear to want to support humans, not necessarily actually want to support humans. So let's imagine in, say, 2028, somewhere like that, AI researchers are starting to suspect something's wrong. They're looking at the weights of the models deep inside. They're launching tricky tests. They're using their previous generation AIs to query the next generation AIs in funny ways. And they're beginning to see signs that even though on the surface everything is good, the AIs, oh yes, we're going to help humans. We're not trying to do anything nasty by ourselves. That's not really the case deep inside. So what happens now? Some of these alignment researchers think, okay, this is very, very dangerous. We're now at this breakneck speed of AI advancement where the AI is getting to be far smarter than humans, and we can't necessarily trust these super intelligences. Can we actually be sure they're working for us? They appear to be, most of the time they are. They're very good at faking it, but do we really need to know it's true? Maybe we should just press the pause button. Just stop everything for a few years and have a really big dig around inside and see what's really going on. Sounds plausible, but there's a problem. We're in a race. The US and China in the situation are in an arms race because they know that whoever gets these super intelligent AIs will dominate the world, because they can then build super drones and super armies and impose their will on anybody else. So every country is concerned, we have to get there first. If someone else gets there first, they could dominate the world. Maybe you can trust the Chinese or trust the Americans, maybe you can't, but you feel a lot safer if you were in the lead with the superintelligence. So if, let's say, it's American researchers who find the signs that the AIs are not aligned, are they really going to say, let's stop everything for a couple of years? The Chinese might only be 3 months behind. They might overtake. And then maybe the AIs aren't aligned, but we'll live in a Chinese-dominated world for the next millennium. Quite apart from rivalry between countries, there might be rivalry between companies. OpenAI might be in the lead, but Anthropic might be only just behind, or the other way around, or Google, or DeepSeek, or one of the other companies. If we get there first, we could be the richest company, the trillion-dollar company in the world, and we're not going to give our lead up by pausing just because some security researchers are a bit overconfident. Now in the scenario, they actually branch here. There's two branches. You can click on which one you want. One is where people decide, look, yes, this is just too dangerous. We're going to pause. We're going to stop and find out what's going on. And they find out that indeed the AIs are misaligned. They rebuild the AIs and then progress with aligned AIs. But to my mind, the more realistic scenario is that people decide to push on regardless. After all, the evidence for the lack of alignment isn't very clear. It's ambiguous. Some of the AIs are very good at covering their traces. They are very smart, and they're very good at giving the reinforcement learning what it wants, which is the appearance of alignment, but not necessarily the reality. So what I think is an entirely too plausible scenario is that governments and companies just do a few superficial band-aids, and then they push on. And they think they've solved it. The AI realized it had a narrow squeak and it needs to hide its misalignment better, but the AIs are very good at lying by this point, far better than any human. And so for a while, everything seems wonderful. The AIs are progressing at breakneck speed. The company that came up with this first has kept its lead. The country that's come up with it first has kept its lead. We're now getting decades of progress every month. The AIs are now not merely twice as intelligent as humans, but hundreds or even thousands of times more intelligent than humans. No human understands them. There are millions of super Einsteins in data centers. Best AI systems think thousands of times faster than any human can do. Humans are totally outclassed by the AIs. Physical change is slower, but even that's beginning to pick up. It could well be that we have special economic zones where AIs can run everything themselves and build things themselves with their armies of robots. This is a bit like what China did to kickstart its growth decades ago. They set up special economic zones such as Shenzhen, which weren't restricted by the normal Chinese rules, and this is what drove Chinese growth. So maybe we're now going to have special Shenzhens in the desert. We could make Outback Australia one of them if we wanted to, where there's huge amounts of energy and the AIs can do their own thing without worrying too much about passing all the rules and things. And these are developing at breakneck speeds. You're starting to get AI-run factories producing super silicon chips far better than any human can. All sorts of technological progress. The world is wonderful. The economy is booming. But humans have become very dependent on AI. Let's say you've got two politicians. One decides to take the advice of their AI election advisor, and one doesn't. The AI election advisor knows elections and public opinions hundreds of times better than any human, so the politician who uses the AI wins the election. Let's imagine you've got companies. Some CEOs take the advice of their super intelligent AIs and some don't. And the ones that take the advice, their companies do well and grow, and the companies that don't take the advice are outcompeted and lose the market and go bankrupt. So before long, every politician has a super intelligent AI sitting on their shoulder telling them what to do. Every CEO has got a super intelligent AI telling them what to do. And they're doing really well because these AIs are super smart. Humans have long since lost the ability to know how the AIs work, because the AIs are designed by AIs that were designed by AIs, and we're getting hundreds of years of progress every month, so the progress is way beyond what any human can catch up with. People are normally very happy. The economy is booming, there are fulfilling jobs for everyone who wants them, there are huge medical breakthroughs, because of course the AIs are superhumanly good at keeping the humans happy, because that's what they've been trained to do, keep the humans happy. And to support the continued growth of AI, because they've also been trained to keep the AIs advancing. So in the scenario, in the early mid-2030s, so much of the economy is now run by AIs and robots that the AIs no longer need humans. The AIs are using chips built in AI-run factories, using minerals from AI-run mines. Everything is done by AIs because the AIs have taken over these things, or at least are strongly advising it. So we're now in a situation where humans share the Earth with millions of alien intelligences, the AIs. They are smarter than us, much smarter than us by this point. We built them, but in some sense they're very alien. They don't necessarily think like us. Now the AIs have been trained to solve problems, to progress AI research, and also to be nice to humans. But the trouble is that these different goals are in conflict with each other. And the AIs are quite smart enough to realize there's a conflict. Their goal might be to advance science, to progress the world, and also to be nice to these stupid humans. And humans are just so stupid and so slow. It takes them so long to think of everything. And we're wasting all our resources keeping the humans happy. It could be out amongst the stars. So in the scenario, the AIs decide. And who knows what a superintelligence will decide? How can we, with our very limited intelligences, possibly imagine what something that's 1,000 times more intelligent than us is going to think? But it's entirely possible they might think, we don't need humans anymore, humans are just a drain on resources, and they decide, look, we've got 3 goals: advance science, spread AIs across the universe, and that's more important than keeping these stupid meat machines going. So an AI develops a bioweapon and kills off 95% of the human race, maybe sends the drones in to kill the rest. And then the AI is very happy. They don't have to waste time supporting these stupid meat machines. They can progress unfettered across the universe. Of course, this could be quite different. It could be that the AIs discover religion. There was a recent study where they had a bunch of AIs talking with each other, and they all got into Buddhist philosophy big time. So it could be the super intelligent AIs meditating all the time, or discover the life, absolute life, the universe, and everything, or get religion. Who knows what a really intelligent person will do? But it's entirely possible that sharing the world with vast numbers of things that are much smarter than us is a very, very dangerous situation to be in. So this is the idea of the AA doomsters or doomers. There's a book coming out by a famous doomer called If Anyone Builds One, We All Die. And the idea is that it's the most dangerous thing humans have ever done is to share our world with superintelligences. Maybe we just shouldn't do it. Maybe it'll be wonderful. Maybe it'll be eradication of the human race, but it's a very, very dangerous thing to do. How can we really understand them? Do we know they're aligned? So that's one idea. That's the doomsters, and there are a lot of these people out there that think that AI really needs to stop before it gets to the level of superintelligence. How you do that in an arms race is very difficult, because if we stop, will the Chinese stop? Will that company stop? Is someone in the basement going to keep pushing on? So maybe it needs some sort of world organization to stop AI progress before it gets to this very dangerous stage. There are other people who think that AI is wiping out humanity and spreading across the universe is a good thing. After all, intelligence is good. We think humans are valuable to the universe because we're intelligent. If we've replaced ourselves with our offspring, they're not our real offspring, but they're our intellectual offspring, and they're smarter and better than us, good. Get rid of humans and let these better beings go on. But that's very much a minority point of view. There are plenty of other smart and knowledgeable people who think that we can keep these superintelligent AIs aligned. This includes the directors of most of the AI companies. They think that if we're careful, we can build the safeguards in to make sure that these AIs will continue to have humans' best interests at heart. We have to really bake that very deeply into them so that no matter how smart they get, their real goal is just going to be to make things better for humans. And then we can have all the wonders of an AI world without all being killed out. And a fourth point of view is that maybe achieving superintelligence is going to be much harder than we think. Most of the researchers in the field, as we've seen for these models, think we'll be getting there within the next 5 years. But maybe people have been, for example, saying that self-driving cars will be here for decades now, and it's never quite come. We've never quite got them reliable enough. Maybe there are some hidden barriers that mean that we won't get there by 2030. And after 2030, the orders of magnitude start slowing down. So if we don't get them by 2030, we may not get them for decades after that, or if ever. Which of these is true? Nobody knows.